Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of Palladia Plays. Actually, no playing this time. I will be analyzing the Persona 5 trailer that came out here recently. Now, a couple of things before I get started. First off, this will be split into three parts. Not because I want to do it that way, but because I have to do it that way. Do apologize for that. The first part will encompass the extended material that we got from the pre-release, where they were doing the whole Tokyo Tower thing. And the second part will be the actual part of it split up into two. Second thing, I apologize for the quality of the last video. Things happened. That's the best I've got. I messed up. I apologize. I'll do my best to make sure that that does not happen again. Thing the third, the quality of this video will probably be a little bit bad. I apologize for that too. Once again, extenuating circumstances. I'm doing the best I can. I really want to do this video though, so even if it's a little bit on the cruddy side, I'm going to persevere. Alright, fourth thing. Fourth thing. At this point, a lot of analysis trailers are out, and unfortunately, I do cover a lot of what has already been hit upon. I do have a couple of things that have not been touched on in other videos, but to save you the time, if you've already sat through a bunch of these videos, I will put those in the description so you can just go ahead and read them, so you don't have to sit through another lengthy analysis video. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Let's unmute it and then get started. Now, then, what you saw there was probably how sneak attacks are usually going to go. A lot of people were guessing that if you snuck attack an enemy, snuck, is that even a word? If you snuck attack an enemy, that would instantly kill them, but that is obviously not what happens. We get a different thing, the chance thing pops up. It's probably just first strike like it was before. I do believe, however, that if you are enough levels above your opponent, you may in fact be able to instantly kill them. But at that point, the gains you get from it are going to be so minimal that it won't really matter. Okay, here we have the new menu. I'm hitting that a little early, so I don't have to do it in the other video. But here we can see what the menu looks like now, as well as Anne's level up there in the left-hand corner. This is just a natural progression system. This is not having to go through menus anymore, just pushing the button that corresponds with what you want to do. This is fantastic. This is streamlining in a good way and not dumbing down, and I absolutely love it. A little early. And here's the next thing up. I absolutely love that now when you go to use your persona, it pops up behind you and then immediately goes into its animation once you get started. Here we also see a list of Anne's abilities. We have Agi, Maragi, probably Dia. It looks like a poison ability, and the last one is probably a buff. But that's just me guessing from looking at the moon words. I'm sure someone's already translated this stuff, and I'm way off base, but here we go. And here's the next thing, the baton pass. This most likely is going to replace once more, and that when you get a critical hit or when you hit an enemy's weakness, you pass your turn on to the next person up. It may be different, it may be critical hits have a different effect, but at the moment for hitting a weakness, you absolutely pass it on to the next person, which is a good thing. It limits what the main character can do, and that's fantastic, because if you play Persona 3 or 4, you know that a well-done main character can just keep going until the entire enemy base is dead. If they have a weakness, that is the thing. If they don't have a weakness, then he's just like any other character, except with a few more tricks up his sleeve, obviously. This is an analysis. This is just me drooling. I love how post-combat looks. Absolutely stylish. This entire game screams style, and they've even added it to the victory poses, for God's sake. Now then, this is obviously the game's platforming elements, and it's just like I thought it was gonna be. You go up to the edge, it gives you the action button, you push it, you go. That's it. You don't have to learn how to scale walls, you don't have to worry about doing parkour. All you gotta do is do context sensitive actions.
ユーザーの皆さんの多くがこのぐらいはプレイしたいというところのボリュームがあると思うんですけど、十二分に超えるようなゲームの密度でお届けできるんじゃないかなと思ってます。僕らとしてはその
And here we see some of the game's stealth elements where you just sneak up behind the chair, push the button, and you hide. But looking at the way this is designed and the way most of the other areas I've seen are designed, it seems like they're giving the option to go around enemies if you want to. Like here, obviously, look at the map. You can easily go around the pillars and circumnavigate this guy. It's not just narrow corridors, so you have that option if you wish to take it.
物語のテーマとか、そういう見た目的なところっていうのは割と分かりやすく手に取りやすいというか想像しやすい面白さにして、実際やってみると想像していたものよりもさらに奥深く面白さがその作り込まれている。僕らが遊んでもらいたいとか。
Here's another interesting thing. As you can see here, now weakness is notified next to the element in question. But now the question is, and this is brought up before, when Anne was doing hers before, obviously the enemies there were weak against fire or against Agi. But it didn't pop up there, but it does here. Now, originally I thought that had something to do with your navigator, with Futaba. But she's not in the party here, so I'm not actually sure anymore. And this is obviously earlier than that, too, because Ryuji here doesn't have anywhere near the number of abilities that he had in the other clip. And here, this is very important. You see when he brings up the shoot menu, it brings up shot, special, and a number of bullets. Obviously, shot's going to be just pulling the trigger and shooting in the face. Probably costs one bullet, but it's also possible that it'll be determined by the gun itself. If you guys never played Persona 1, each gun had a different number of shots that it could potentially fire. I'm wondering if they'll bring that back where each gun fires a certain number of shots, or if it'll just be one shot per gun. You know, depending, obviously, Anne's going to unload more than one shot with her submachine gun. And then we have special. Special could be two things. Special could be special shells like we're in Persona 1, which are tranquilize, poison, bind, all that fun stuff. Or, more than likely, what it is encompassing character special attacks. I will cover that later in the video once, actually probably in part 3 when I cover that, that's my guess. But yeah, that'll become more important later on when we see a special attack actually being performed. And here, oh, I missed the pause. One briefly. And here, when you see as you're the main character, now you can switch between your persona with the L and R buttons. That's another streamlining thing. It just saves time. And I know I've said this before, I'll say it again, it's not dumbing down because all that's still there. It's just now instead of going to the menu and hassling back over, you just push L or R. And this is how you streamline things. Two things here. First off, this is one of our new characters. Her name is Makoto. We'll go over her more in the next video. Another thing, this enemy is both weak against her attack and has resisted her attack. Most likely what's going on here is that he is either weak against physical attacks and then resistant to the element on her weapon, or he is weak against the element or ailment on her weapon, but strong against physical attacks. Considering he's a robot, he's probably strong against physical attacks and weak against her ailment. But that's just a guess on my part. Alright, and guys, that will be the end of part 1. I just wanted to do it to the end of that one to have that stopping point, because it just makes sense. And I'll be back very shortly with part 2, so very briefly, I'll be seeing you guys. And I've actually got to go to the exit point now. Guys, watch me push stop.